Well, hello, everybody. Hope your day is going as great as mine is. It's always off to start off on a positive note, and I certainly have done that. This morning, as I was getting my breakfast put together, I was thinking about my plate and its contents and how quickly it all comes together like that. Uh, and I think one of the reasons why is through the years, I have learned to simplify, 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 and to focus more on what's healthy and what isn't. And that seems to have made a huge difference in so many choices I make, and so many choices I no longer need to worry about making. Uh, One of the things I have found that has really helped me in making decisions about what I do and do not eat is uh, am I doing this for the health of it? Yeah, that's what I said. Am I doing this for the health of it? Uh, and that's really important because the foods we eat fuel our body, and our body takes us here, there, and everywhere that we want to go. It also fuels our mind, which is part of our body that directs so much of everything we do and uh, helps generate the thoughts we have. And it's always important to me to make the best choices I know how to make. And one of the things that I've always believed in is my grandma was a smart cookie. And I look back at a lot of the things that she did, and of course, a lot of the things had to do with availability um, and technology. But I'm not sure just because something is available or the technology is there that it necessarily needs to be embraced as the next best thing. And that has to do, of course, with processed foods. And that's all you hear about anymore is the danger of processed foods. Uh, and I got to thinking about my grandma, and grandma didn't use processed foods. She would have laughed. She would have said, "Why are you wasting your money on stuff like that? I can whip that up for you in 10 minutes." And generally speaking, that's pretty much the case. If you start out with basic fresh ingredients, it takes very little time to do most things. Um, and breakfast is a perfect example of that, I guess, which is what triggered the thought this morning. Uh, One of the things that I do know that I'll share with you as a key tip is uh, it's best to focus on eating nutrient dense foods where you get a lot of bang for the buck you're paying. You're getting wonderful health benefits from these nutrient dense foods. And the standard still holds pretty much true, even with the new nutrition guidelines, which have in fact increased the amount of meat available in a basic healthy food plan somewhat, or proteins from some source, be they from animal protein or vegetable protein. Uh, and the basic guideline is fill half your plate with vegetables and fruits, choose a few whole grains, and opt for the leaner protein choices like fish, beans, or poultry, and to limit processed foods, added sugars, sodium, and saturated fats, while you stay hydrated basically with water. Water still works. Um, it's more readily available. Given most areas where we live, water from the tap is safe for drinking. Uh, You don't need to necessarily get it out of a bottle. You can get it from the tap if you wish. And the other tip is that small, consistent changes, such as cooking most of your meals at home and paying attention to labels, make healthy eating really sustainable. Uh, I am a firm believer in prioritizing my choices from whole foods. I can choose vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts. I can balance my plate, making half of it into those fruits and vegetables. Uh, I absolutely love the rainbow effect that gives my plate. I can, as I said before, choose lean proteins, uh, fish, poultry, lentils, beans. I can limit the processed foods and sugars. Uh, I don't need sugary drinks. I don't need pretend sugary drinks. I don't need fast food. I am really not a fan of fast food. Uh, and that's a change. I used to love fast food. But through the years, I'm just always, I just sigh like, why did I waste my money on this? It isn't even really good. And I don't tend to like sugary snacks like I used to. I used to absolutely crave salty things. And I'm so glad to have gone past that. I just simply do not care for the taste as much as I did when I was younger. Not sure why. Grateful that it happened and hope to continue on. Healthy fats. One of the things I have learned during my journey to living my best life is nutrition is an ever evolving science. What nutritionists may think is true today may change next week, next month, next year, as more is learned about how the body processes foods and how individual bodies process foods. Um, I don't want to get in a debate with you about whether eggs are good or bad, or olive and canola oils are better than butter. I am not a nutritionist. I take the best advice I can find on topics like that. And those are in such moderation if you consider a whole day's consumption that I'm not going to agonize unduly as long as my health numbers from my doctor are in alignment. Um, I do prefer water. Uh, I actually find myself thirsty for water, and I'm an ice fan. Maybe some of you aren't, but I do enjoy a glass of cold water. Um, One of the things that I absolutely have found that is my biggest bugaboo, and maybe it's yours as well, is watching portion size. I find that if I am not careful, my portion size creeps up and gets larger and larger. It's like uh, amazing how quickly that can happen. And what used to be level filling us a small plate now is over the top on a large 12-inch dinner plate. Well, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out why perhaps you're eating more food just by the way your portion size is. Um, I love experimenting with the actual increase in food volume that results from the plate my grandmother used to use to serve food to her family and the plates that now are commonly used, uh, from which I feed my grandchildren. Uh, it's a almost a half again increase in size. And for that plate to look as full as it did when Grandma fixed our meals, you have to put a lot more food on there. And it's food that your body really uh, cannot handle in the course of the day and stores uh, as fat. Uh, when you overeat and uh, try to clean your plate, as Grandma used to tell you. Well, the plate she had you cleaning was not near the size as the plate you're cleaning now. And that has a lot to do with it. It's just not bad parenting, because that was not bad parenting necessarily at the time. Things change, and you have to be aware of how things are changing in the world in which you live. Um, some simple daily habits that I now embrace and enjoy are cooking at home. Uh, I tend to pre-plan basically breakfasts and lunches because uh, it's convenient to do so. You know, I can put together breakfasts at least for 5 days and pretty much lunches for 5 days as well, and just have them handy dandy to grab out. It is even a food savings for me to do that because I know exactly what I need and there's less waste as a result. I also find that pre-planning meals tends to avoid impulsive, less healthy food choices. Um, when it's almost 5 o'clock somewhere and nothing's been thawed out for dinner, you don't always make the healthiest food choices. And that's important when you're trying to live your best life. I also become an avid label reader, and I check very often for two primary things. One is sugar, and the other is the amount of sodium that's in the food product. Depending on what it is, I may check not only the amount of fat, but also the type of fat that's in the food product. Labels tell you a huge amount. Uh, I also tend to like to buy things that I don't need to get out a scientific dictionary to define the contents, the ingredient list of whatever it is that I'm planning on putting into my mouth for the journey through my body to extract nutrition from it. Um, so that again is another simple daily habit that I found out my sons have taken up as well. And they're funny sometimes in what they'll do when they come over to visit and bring their grandkids. They'll go out into my pantry and they'll begin reading labels, and I'll say, "And what are you looking for?" And they said, "You know perfectly well, Mom, you taught us what to look for." Uh, and it's just a simple habit. Even the little bits tend to look and see what ingredients are in what they're eating, and they'll say, "What is this word, Grammy?" And I'll say, "I haven't a clue. Perhaps we shouldn't eat that if we don't know what it means." Uh, I also tend to make swaps when I'm shopping for food. Uh, I have found that I can use something as simple as Greek yogurt instead of mayo. For me, that's a healthier trade-off, and I'm certainly do not mind the swap. Sometimes I'll put a dash of vinegar in it. Sometimes I'll put a dash of lemon, whatever I'm feeling like as far as the yogurt is concerned, when I'm making a substitution. I also tend to like to buy whole grain breads and pastas. Some people seem to be allergic to gluten, and that's not a choice they can make. But there's certainly many healthy, not ultra processed foods available for those who are avoiding gluten. Uh, and it's important, I think, to just incorporate these as daily habits. Um, that way, it's sort of a mindless way of living healthy. And I guess that's what I'm hoping to be able to get to as I grow up and learn more, is to have healthy habits. Uh, we all have habits. Why not make them as healthy as we possibly can? Uh, are there benefits to eating healthy? You betcha there are. Healthy eating offers things like better weight management, reducing chronic disease risk, like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Uh, it can promote increased energy levels, improve digestion, and even enhance your mental health. Isn't that amazing? Consuming a nutrient-dense diet supports immune function, it strengthens bones, and keeps skin, teeth, and eyes healthy. Why would we uh, not want to go in that direction? No, we won't be perfect. We won't do everything right all the time, but we can certainly focus on making the best choices that we can when it comes to our health. Um, the weight management, a balanced diet rich in whole foods helps maintain a healthy weight and support sustainable weight loss, uh, reducing the risk of obesity related conditions. And this is according to the CDC. It's not something I'm making up. Uh, Another benefit, the reduced risk of chronic disease. Uh, Eating nutrient-dense foods, they have found lowers the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, certain types of cancer. Uh, and this comes from, again, the CDC and the American Cancer Society. Better digestive health diet high in fiber from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains helps promote a healthy gut. Adding to the ability to regulate digestion and prevent unpleasant conditions like constipation and diarrhea. Um, it also increases energy and stamina. Balanced meals provide steady energy levels throughout the day, and this helps prevent fatigue and it improves overall vitality. Again, this is coming from scientific studies done on the best choices that we can make when it comes to living our healthiest, most active lives for as long as we possibly can. Uh, Improve mental health and brain function. A healthy diet can lead to better long-term mental health, better focus, and improved cognitive function. Again, all positive reasons for staying home and not ordering out. Healthy food focuses on whole nutrient dense foods, colorful vegetables and fruits, uh, lean proteins, uh, again, the fish, chicken, and beans, whole grains, and healthy fats. Uh, Lots of leafy greens, berries, nuts, and yogurt. An approach that is balanced and where sugary drinks are not a contributing part of it. Um, one of the happiest things I ever saw when the grandkids, the little grandkids, and now I have a great grandkids uh, coming soon, was one day I had fixed dinner for everybody, and they were sitting down at the table, and the littlest one uh, was just at the age where he was on a booster chair and no longer in a high chair. And he climbed up on his booster chair and he looked, and on his plate, because his mom had fixed his plate for him, was broccoli. And that little boy got so excited. He said, "Oh, broccoli!" Like it was chocolate. And I thought, your mom's doing a good thing for you, kiddo, and you don't even know it. You think she's giving you a special treat. And that today reminded me that that's how all of us should approach and appreciate the foods that we choose to eat. Be excited for the positive differences that we are making in our lives each and every day. Let's keep on choosing the best and leaving the rest. And with that thought, I'm going to bid you goodbye for today, and I will talk to you later.